This, we're also going to make a fresh mashed potato pancake. You could also do it with sweet potatoes. So your leftover potatoes, whether they're sweet or mashed, you can form them into small cakes. Depending on what you're using them for, you could make different sizes. If you want them maybe with a fish dish or with a turkey dish, you could make smaller ones. They cook a little quicker. They're more of a nice little garnish around the plate. Or you can make one large one as a big potato cake that you could use for, again, for a garnish or for a main course and put something over top of it. Maybe put some of the sauteed turkey right over top of it with the gravy on it. Some leftover mashed potatoes. Okay. Put them into a bowl. They're pretty well seasoned from the day before, and what you want to do is just kind of mash them up a little bit more so that you don't get big lumps in them. You could use whatever kind of breadcrumbs you have in the house. You could, if you have leftover Italian bread, you can put them in a Cuisinart or a mixer or a grinder and crush them up. You can season them a little bit if you want. This is just a Japanese panko breadcrumb. You see your standard breading procedure is flour, egg, and breadcrumb. And when you're doing it, you want to make sure that you shake off the excess flour off whatever item you're breading. So we're going to do a couple different ways here. We're going to make one larger one and then a couple smaller ones. And what you want to do is kind of shape them into almost a crab cake cylinder. And depending on what you're doing with them, you can make them large, high ones, so it's an accent for a plate. Or you can make a traditional potato pancake, which is flat and rounded sides. So we'll just dust them in flour, and again, shake off the excess flour. And when you're doing breading, what you want to do is have one wet hand, one dry hand. You don't want to go into the breadcrumb with the wet hand, or you get clumps of breading on your hands, and it's very difficult to finish up. So a wet and a dry is always the way. It doesn't have to be over breaded. Back on this plate. You want to make sure you coat it well with eggs. There's no excess flour on there. And then back into the breadcrumb mix. And the small one. Again, smoking hot because I've had it on the fire for a little while. You want to get the original color on them so it's nice and brown, nice and hot when you're putting them in. They're going to color fairly quickly. As you can see, they're already starting to color on the bottom. So what we need to do is turn them over fairly quickly. You want to get some nice color on them. And after you get color on them, they could go back into your preheated 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes with a little bit of oil on a pan. And pop it right into your oven. And that cooks for about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the size of the potato. The small ones are going to take less time, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. The larger ones are about 15 minutes. And you could prep these ahead, meaning you could color these like the day before. Have some nice color on them. And then use them for a dish 2 days down the road, 3 days down the road. You take them out of the refrigerator, they're all colored. You pop them in the oven. They stay nice and moist and delicious inside. 15 minutes in the oven from the refrigerator, 20 minutes in the oven from the refrigerator, and they're ready to serve with a nice chicken dish or a beef dish or a fish dish as well. If you were just serving this dish and you want to use some more leftovers, the cranberry mayonnaise works well with that as well.